Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of racing action here on VidaneTV. Tonight we've got the Oil Boys late model series here at Langley Speedway. Fantastic little short track nestled in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of racing action. So just under 3 minutes remaining here in practice before we get qualifying underway. Casey Beatty currently top of the charts with a 15.461. Right behind him is going to be Ryan Kuhn in the number 72 car with a 15.478. Kyle Goodbout going to be the third fastest car with a 15.479. So three cars all within 2/100th of a second here tonight in the top three. A lot of our drivers getting settled in here in the pits, maybe getting up, grabbing a snack before the night of racing gets underway. Heats are going to begin here at 7 o'clock p.m. Currently 30 cars registered for the race. I'd like to give a big shout out to our friends over at DoorDash for sponsoring tonight's event. Scan that QR code in the top right of your screen there and get $8 off your first 4 orders, courtesy of VidaneTV and DoorDash. Currently no action going on the racing surface. While we're waiting for the practice session, why don't we give a little ride along here with Mr. Brandon Lambert in that number 77 machine. Looks like he was just doing some sims of getting in and out of the pits here. You can see just how loose they get when they start lifting off of the throttle coming into the corners here. The car almost wants to step away. You can hear the tires just screaming. One thing I love about Langley is just how far you dip the car below that yellow line. Such a wide racetrack, and we want to use absolutely none of it here tonight. But that is going to conclude the practice session here for the Oil Boys. See Barney aggressively waving that checkered flag. And we're going to dive straight into the heats. So for Heat 1, going to be Casey Beatty in the 45 car on the inside. To his outside is going to be Carter Atwood in the number 32. Row number 2 is going to have Jason Gaudette in third. Justin Prescott going to be starting in the 4th position. Paxton Call 5th, and Mike McCaskill in the 6th spot. Tegan Atkins making up your 7th place starter in the number 88 machine. To his outside, going to be Patrick Switzer in the number 16 car. And rounding out the field for Heat number 1 is going to be Dominic Lafleur and Stephen Rochefort. Looks like lights are out on the iRacing safety car. Going to be quick to green here. 12 laps the distance of the seat race. Pace car going to stay out, so 2 pace laps here at Langley Speedway. M. Kelly 802 checking in the comments. First time tuning in. Does everyone make the show? I don't believe so. I believe we are going to have some drivers going home here tonight. Usually it's 22 or 24 starters here in the Oil Boys series. At some of the bigger tracks, I have seen them push it up to where everyone makes the show, but Langley is a very short track, so I'm not sure we're going to see all cars here in the main event. But pace car going to take the hard dive down on the pit road. And away we go for the first time here tonight. And quick caution comes out. Looks like possibly some trouble for Dominic LaFleur, Keegan Atkins. There we go. We're going to watch the replay here on the start. Big stack up. Looks like someone missed the shift there. And unfortunately, going to be some damage to the front of that 03 machine. Field making their way under yellow. Casey Beattie still going to be your leader. Caution laps do not count here in the Oil Boys series, which makes timing and scoring go absolutely haywire. As every time a car crosses the start-finish line, it's expecting them to take the lap, and then it realizes, nope, you didn't take the lap, so it shuffles you right from the top of the order to the bottom of the order. We hid the timing tower from you guys, so you guys don't have to watch that until they go green once again. Pace car making the hard left turn in the pit lane, and green flag is out. And once again, caution coming out. Looks like a big issue there for the 16 car of Patrick Switzer. Again, 4 car gets up into the wall and gets right into the rear bumper of the 2 car of Paxton Call, spins that number 16 machine around, and that's where that car is going to rest. Takes the tow back into the pit lane. So 3 laps in the books here for the heat number 1 for the Oil Boys. So it looks like some kind of issue for the 45 machine of Casey Beattie. Was in the lead, but now showing in 7th position behind the field. So wondering if there was some kind of penalty, maybe a jump start, maybe a passing under yellow that caused that number 45 car to be shuffled to the rear. Currently shown in first is going to be number 30 machine of Jason Gaudette. The number 32 car of Carter Atwood scored in front of Jason Gaudette, but 1 lap down. So field going to get doubled up. That means lights are out on the pace car. Going to be 1 to go this time. Jason Gaudette in that number 30 Twisted T machine. Going to dive to the inside on this restart. looks like some kind of connection trouble there for Jason Gaudet in the 32. But green flag comes out once again. Didn't see any carnage in the back, so we might get one in this time. And we do. Carter Atwood still being scored one lap down. So Jason Gaudet being scored as your leader right now. Mike McCaskill in the second spot. Stephen Rochefort in third. So 6 laps in the book, 7 laps in the book now for heat race number 1. Good side-by-side battle for what looks like is the top spot. 3 car, Mike McCaskill, going to take the dive to the inside of Jason Gaudet, going to get it done in turns 1 and 2. Number 66 car, Stephen Rochefort, now looking to the inside of the third machine. Not quite able to get it there on lap number 8, working lap number 9 now, timing and scoring. Had to take a quick hiccup to catch back up. And look who it is in the 4th position so far is going to be Casey Beattie in the 45, making their way back up from starting 7th on this last restart. Gives a little bump to the 66 of Stephen Rochefort, going to slide his way up into the 3rd position. Fields across the stripe, going to be white flag, 1 more lap to go here at heat race number 1. And Mike McCaskill going to come home in the top spot. Jason Gaudet 2nd, Casey Beattie 3rd, and Tegan Atkins 4th for your first heat race of the night. So heat race number 2, going to have Dominic Frappier in the top spot. To his outside, going to be Matt Huntington in the number 99 car. Ty Delphia going to be starting in the 3rd position. Ryan Kuhn starting 4th. Kenny Thompson in the number 39 machine, going to start in the 5th position. And rounding out your top 6 is going to be Matt Pepin in the number 56 car. Final 2 rows of the grid is going to have Tom Hardwood on the inside in the number 29 car. To his outside in 8th is going to be Makita Hiru in the number 36 car. Jake Grout going to start in the 9th position in the 49 car, and Cam Beattie starting in 10th in the 45 machine. Field making their way off of the grid, going to be 2 pace laps for these guys. Dominic in that 05 machine, pulling away a little bit, getting side-by-side with the pace car. Not going to do you any good while we're on these pace laps. Might be just heating the tires up a little bit more. I know in some of the dirt classes, we see some of the drivers dipping their tires into the grass, trying to cool them off. Not an option here at Langley Speedway. It is paved the entire way around here. Here in the corners, you're going to have to dive way down if you want to get into that grass. Pace car making the dive to the inside of the track. Field is off and away. Looks like they're going to get away clean and green this time. It's going to be the 05 and 99 duking it out side by side, and caution is going to come out. Looks like an issue here for the number 29 car of Tom Harwood. Looks like they were trying to go 4 wide there for a second, but that 3 wide action going to take out 3 of our cars here. See if we can get a nice little slow-mo shot from the gyro cam of Cam Beattie as he Days of Thunders his way right through this accident. Goes high, goes low, is able to avoid nearly everything. I think he just got a clip of it right there at the end. But here at the short tracks, your aerodynamics don't matter all that much. So obviously you want a tip-top, perfect running car, but a little bit of bumping and scraping ain't going to hurt you all that bad. So field doubled up once again, 1 lap in the books. Going to be on green flag this time by. So Tegan Atkins checking in the comments saying we are taking the top 6 from each heat race. So top 6 going to transfer into your A main here tonight. Dominic Frappier with a fantastic jump on that start. Going to be side by side for the second spot between Ty Delphia and Matt Huntington. Ty Delphia on the inside, Huntington on the outside, followed real closely by the number 39 car of Kenny Thompson, now going to be the inside of the 99. Now it looks like Huntington's going to get hung out to dry here. Finally gets his way to the inside, going to be scored in the 4th position. Oh, as they're wrecking behind him, looks like they got it all gathered up though. So top 6 transfer, no harm, no foul for Matt Huntington, but where you finish is going to determine where you start in the feature race here tonight. Oh, and big spin, big moment there for the 45 of Cam Beattie. You saw it live on screen, and that one's going to bring out the caution. 5 laps in the books, still going to be 7 laps remaining. Watch as the 45 car of Cam Beattie makes his way through turn number 4, grabs a clip of the apron there, gets the car just a little bit too low into the marbles, and it's just going to start rotating on him. Not much you could do at that point other than hold the brakes and hold on. That's exactly what he does, and he's going to park it right on the start-finish line in victory lane. Spinning like that during the race, not going to get you to victory lane, but the picture still looks cool. Going to try restarting our paint software as it's decided to be temperamental. It was only loading some of the guys' schemes before, and now it doesn't seem to be working on anybody's schemes. As we give it a little refresh, all these cars are going to get a fresh wrap here as they trickle in. 6 laps in the books, halfway the distance. Not sure why the paint software is being so temperamental. But that gray car up front is still going to be the 05 of Dominic Frappier, followed right behind by Ty Delphia and Matt Huntington. Looks like Ty Delphi is the only one whose steam is loading in properly. So, white flag is out here for heat race number 2, and it's going to be Dominic Crappier in the top spot, Ty Delphi is second, Ryan Kuhn third, Jay Kraut fourth, Matt Huntington in fifth, and Makita Giroux finishing in the 6th position. Those 6 cars are going to transfer to your feature event here tonight. So, Kyle Goodbout going to start on the pole for heat race number 1. We're going to have the race control car starting in second. Obviously, that car is not going to grid, but unfortunately for race control to show up in the race, they've got to have a car assigned to them. So, race control assigned to car number 21. Third going to be Chris Theron in the number 5 car. Who's outside going to be Gary Wheeler in the 92. Hayden Bushy starting 5th in the 15 car. To his outside going to be Brogan Roberts in the number 20 machine. Starting 7th, going to be Riley McVetti in the number 25 car. Who's outside, going to be Landon O'Donnell in the 60. Brandon Lambert starting in the 9th position in the 77. And Luke Shannon going to be starting 10th in the 13 car. So field starting to make their way off of the grid. I'd like to apologize to the drivers whose paint schemes are not showing here tonight. We've restarted the paint software about 4 times, done the Control R, re-downloaded the paints a handful of times, and it does not seem to want to cooperate with everyone. You do see on the outside there, in that number 92 machine, Gary Wheeler, it is showing his beautiful Hooters paint scheme on that number 92 Ford. A handful of cars behind them. Paint schemes are showing up just fine. The 17 car of Kyle Goodbout, unfortunately being shown with the default paint scheme, so a little bit of technical difficulties here with the internet and some of the fun issues that happen when you try and run 9 apps at once to run a single piece of software. But pace car going to take the hard dive into pit lane. Big stack up there on the start. Looks like everyone's going to get away from it just fine. Once again, 12 laps distance for this heat race. Kyle Goodbout on the top spot, Gary Wheeler second, Brogan Roberts third, and looks like we are going to have a caution for the number 5 car of Chris Theron. That number 5 Suck Less machine going to get a tag on the inside, maybe not quite, going to be side by side, can't tell who that is on the outside just yet. Down the back straightaway, there comes the shunt. That's going to be from the number 20 car, Brogan Roberts. Slides up right in front of the whole field, amazingly scot-free. Doesn't even look like he hits the wall, maybe just barely, but no damage on any of the race cars here in the field tonight. So they're going to re-rack them, stack them, and getting ready to go racing it once again. That number 5 Suck Less machine has caught up to the tail end of the field. So we'll pan the camera back up to the 17 of Kyle Goodbout. Pace car taking the hard left turn back in the pit lane, going green once again, 1 lap in the books. It's going to be 9 laps remaining, or excuse me, 11 laps remaining. I can't math here tonight. Seems to be a recurring theme here on VidaneTV. A race car channel, not a math channel. So two Hooters machines of Gary Wheeler and Landon O'Donnell will be side by side down there in front straightaway. Followed along right behind by Luke Shannon in that 13 car. This is your battle for the transfer. All three of these cars going to make it. It's all up to Brandon Lambert in that 77 machine, who is going to lose his competition from behind. Both his competitors from the rear, Riley McVetti and Chris Theron, sliding into each other into the pit lane. That, I believe, is going to be a black flag for Riley McVetti, not only for an unsafe pit entrance, but an unsafe pit exit. Fortunately, they're going to start the tail end of the field anyway, so no harm, no foul. That's going to stack the field up once again and add a little excitement for that transfer position. Pace car making the hard left turn once again, third of the way through this race. Another great start for number 17, Kyle Goodbout. They're going to be side by side right behind them. And here we go, Brandon Lambert trying to get himself into a transfer spot. Big shunt there on the number 60 car, Landon O'Donnell. Side by side across time. That time, Brandon Lambert does get it, and he is able to swing by Luke Shannon for the 6th position. Shannon going to dive right on back halfway through this heat race. Oh, big dive there by Brandon Lambert. Almost clipping the pit entrance cone and going to get a black flag for that unsafe pit entry. That is the way it is ruled in iRacing, so that's going to shuffle him to the back of the field. Riley McVetti now going to be scored in that 7th position. Not enough to get himself a transfer spot, but might get you a little bit of a better starting spot here in the consolation race. Brandon Lambert going to have to make the dive down pit road one of these laps if he does not want to get disqualified. That's going to be lap number 2, has to come down this time, or he will face a disqualification. So currently Landon McDonald and Riley McVetti side by side, currently being scored for the transfer spot, but that number 77 machine in 5th is going to be dropped out of this race if their black flag is not cleared. Landon O'Donnell takes another big dive to 25, not able to get anything done, and Gary Wheeler going to be side by side now. Big contact there. We'll shuffle it back up to the front of the field. White flag is out, one more lap to go. Kyle Goodbout still in first, Hayden Bushy second, Brogan Roberts in third. No competition for any of those 3 cars. Big slide there for Kyle Goodbout, and he's going to come home your winner of heat race number 3. So Brandon Lambert in the 77 does get that disqualification. That means Kyle Goodbout, Hayden Bushy, Brogan Roberts, Luke Shannon, Riley McVetti, and Gary Wheeler make the transfer into your feature event. And to my eyes, I feel like we've been lied to. You have 29 starters here in this feature race. By my math, 3 heat races, taking 6 cars each. That's only 18 cars. So it looks like we're taking a whole bunch more for the main event here tonight. So 100 laps the distance of the feature race, starting at 7:31 p.m. So half an hour of heat racing, now on to the big show. Starting on the pole is going to be Mike McCaskill in the number 3 machine. To his outside, going to be Dominic Frappier in the 05. Starting third is going to be Kyle Goodbow in the number 17 machine, finishing all three of those cars, finishing first in their heat races. Starting fourth is going to be Jason Gaudette Jr. in the number 30 car. Fifth going to be Ty Delphia in the 133. Hayden Bushy going to be starting in the 6th position in the 15 car. Seventh going to be Casey Beatty in the 45. To his outside is going to be Ryan Kuhn in the number 72 machine. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Broden Roberts and Tegan Atkins. Outside the top 10 now, Jake Kraut going to be starting on the inside in the 11th position. To his outside of row number 6 is going to be Luke Shannon. 13th is going to be Stephen Rochefort. To his outside is going to be Matt Huntington in the 14th position. Rylan McFetty and Dominic LaFleur making up row number 8. Row number 9 going to have Nikita Giroux in the number 17, or excuse me, in the 36th machine in the 17th position. 18th going to be Gary Wheeler in the 92 car. 19th is going to be Paxton Hall. 20th, Kenny Thompson. Landon O'Donnell starting in the 21st spot. Carter Atwood starting 22nd. Tom Harwood and Brandon Lambert making up row number 12. Row 13 has Justin Prescott, Cam Beatty. 14 is Chris Theron and Patrick Swister. And shotgun on the field is going to be Matt Pepin in the number 56 car. Pace car going to be making the hard dive down in the pit road this time. And green flag going to be coming out. Once again, 100 laps distance. Field makes it into turn number 3. No caution just yet. Seems like they all got away from that one. Scott-free. 1 lap in the books. Dominic Fapure taking a look to the inside. Not quite able to get anything done out of turn number 4. Car exiting the pit lane right onto the racing line. That's the danger of all these cars dipping below that line to hit the apex of this corner. Top 5 cars going to be single file and caution is going to come out. Showing Riley Betty may have crashed. See a big gaggle of cars here, 3 wide, and that 25 car going to get shuffled up to the high side, going to take the tow. Oh, excuse me, a little bit of connection issue from that one. But going to pull away, bit caution flag did come out though. So guys, checking in the comments with some tech support, trying to get the paint schemes working. My custom number setting might be on. Yeah, that's possible. I am on a fresh install of Windows. Got everything set up about 2 hours ago, so it is very possible that I missed something. So we'll give you a little bit of a DoorDash ad here. $8 off your first 4 orders. So we try and fix some of the technical difficulties we are having here tonight. Be sure to scan that QR code on the top left. Get $8 off your first 4 orders. Pace car making their way down back into the pit lane. You'll see some of our paints cycle through. That might have been it because all of the paints recycled. So thanks for the tip from Shadow SZN. It'll take a moment for the paint schemes to come up, so I'll give you the rundown while all the cars are unpainted, unwrapped. Mike McCaskill still in the top spot. That's the car with the red wheels up in front. Second going to be Casey Beatty. Third going to be Dominic Fapure. Fourth going to be Brogan Roberts. And fifth going to be Ty Delphia. Looks like he's fighting side by side with Ryan Kuhn. Now you can see the paint scheme starting to trickle on in. Oh yeah, that seemed to have worked. So big shout out there to Shadow SZN here in the YouTube comments. That was fantastic. All of our cars now looking sharp as they should. Much more colorful grid here we have tonight. Always thanks for the help from the YouTube comments. Dominic Verpeer scored in the 05 car, but clearly running with that number 47 on the side of that now teal machine. 10th of the way through this one, lap number 12 we're working on now, out of 100 laps. Only one caution so far on the night. Closest battle right now is going to be for the 13th position between Jason Gaudette and Landon O'Donnell. Those two cars running side by side. Big slide there for Paxton Call in that number 2 machine. Gas to give it a good bit of opposite lock. Slides up in front of the 3 car of Dominic LaFleur. All 3 of those cars able to keep it clean and green. Not sure how they saved that one. Casey Beattie, still your race leader now, half a second up over Dominic Spear. Those cars working through some lap traffic. That's going to be the number 29 car of Tom Harwood. A little bit of 3-wide action further back in the field as some of these cars make their way through some lap traffic. Still Tom Harwood shaking it up for these guys. Bunch of big moments there for Luke Shannon. And caution flag going to come out here. Possibly an issue for Hayden Bushy. And yep, there it is in that number 15 machine. Slides up the racetrack, no contact with the wall, able to save the race car, but did stop on track, and that one is going to bring out the caution. So 19 laps in the books, about a fifth of the way through this race. So lights are still on the pace car. Field going to be single file. No one taking a dive in the pit lane just yet. I believe all of these guys have a couple sets of tires available in the box. But fifth of the way through the race, a little too early to take it. Now the lights are going to come out on the pace car. So the field's going to double up and make their way to the front of the grid. 22 laps it is so far. It's going to be 78 laps to go in this one. The field's going to be going green flag this time by. Would also like to apologize for some of the internet connection issues here tonight. A high-quality recording of this race will premiere tomorrow on VidaneTV. But field is making their way under green flag. A lot of shuffling, beating, and banging going on further back in the field. Somehow they all keep it going in the right direction. Not sure how they manage that one. Oh, and we have big contact there towards the front of the field. And this is going to be the big one. Almost every car involved in that accident. I'm not even sure where to start with that one. Looks like Mike McCaskill involved, and that might have started off that chain reaction. See if we can find the incident. Yep, just a little tag from the 49 car. Gonna dive into the grass, and frankly, everyone else piling in. Paxton Call involved in that one. See if we can get an onboard with Paxton Call and see what he saw as he made his way into this one. So entering turn number 3 here. See the accident happen in front of him, and everyone, just absolutely nothing you can do. Slams on the brakes, make contact with cars in front, cars in the back, and unfortunately going to be stuck there. A lot of these guys from the New England region, this kind of looks like a day driving through Boston. So we have cars still hitting the attenuator, and it took about 30 seconds to get out of that incident. So we catch up live with Paxton Call in that number 2 machine. Gonna take the dive down pit road and see if we can get that car fixed, because frankly it's pretty close to junk at this point, as well as most of the cars in the field. As I was trying to say before they wrecked, a high-quality recording is taking place right now, so it will premiere on VidaneTV tomorrow. So if you want to watch the race in full high quality, you can watch that tomorrow. I know we're having some frame drops here tonight. I'm not going to name my ISP because, frankly, I don't have many good things to say about them, but they are having some hiccups here. So making sure we got it recorded so we can get you a good high-quality version of it tomorrow. 27 laps on the board so far. So going to be 73 laps remaining in this one. 3 cautions so far on the night. So field back to double file. Big shakeup through the grid. Hopefully they can keep it green this time, as the pace car going to take the dive once again for the 4th time here tonight. Great start there for Casey Beatty in that number 45 machine. Going to dive down below the yellow line and get away from the rest of this field. Dominic Frappier and Ryan Kuhn now joining the battle. Ryan Kuhn is a name we have not talked a lot about here tonight. Finally making his way up to 2nd spot. He's going to try his best to chase down Casey Beatty. Close battle on track for the 4th position between Dominic Frappier and that number 47 and the 10 car, Brogan Roberts. Brogan Roberts able to seal the deal. Now Dominic's going to have to fight with Makita Giro in that number 36 machine, side by side, and they're going to single file it out down the back straightaway before the 36 takes another dive into turn number 3. Approaching 1/3 of the distance so far in this one. Big slide there from 36 machine. Able to keep pointed in the right direction, but the pace car is going to come out. Looks like Paxton Call driving slowly is the events log. Let's see what happened here as the field stacked up in front of him. That looks like it might have been the 3 car of Mike McCaskill. See if we can catch what happened here between the pair of 3 cars. As they make their way into turn number 1. A little bit of contact there, going to get sideways, shunted from behind, and unfortunately, all those cars getting thrown up into the outside wall. All those cars seeming to drive away just fine from that one. See a lot of steering input being put into that number 3 car, Mike McCaskill, though. Might have to come down into the pit lane. These drivers do get a backup car here tonight, so see if any of these drivers do come down pit lane, take that backup car. Currently 34 laps on the book, so approaching halfway. I think at this point in the race, you might as well take the backup car. You don't want to use it at all, but you don't want to save it to the end and not have another chance to use it if you're driving around in a damaged race car. Going a lap down is about the worst thing that can happen to you at one of these short tracks. .35 laps in the books. Going to be 65 laps remaining here in this 100 lapper at Langley Speedway. Lights are out on the pace car. They're going to get ready to battle once again. Casey Beattie this time taking the start on the inside line. Brian Kuhn going to be starting on the outside in second. Luke Shannon going to start in third. Brogan Roberts restarting in the fourth position. Nikita Giroux rounding out your top 5 as the field makes their way into turn number 3 before we take on the 5th restart of the night. Great start there for the number 45 of Casey Beattie. Brian Kuhn diving right to the inside, going to slide in right behind the 45 car. And those pair are going to run away from Luke Shannon. Yellow flag going to come out once again, though. So not a chance for a lead change here. Not sure what happened there. Possibly an issue for Riley Betty. We're seeing some connection issues there. So not sure what happened on that restart. But 39 laps in the books now. These pace laps are making me a bit hungry, and if they're making you hungry, be sure to drop down to VidaneTV/DoorDash, click on the link, scan the QR code that comes up, and get $8 off your first 4 DoorDash orders, courtesy of DoorDash and VidaneTV. The lights are out on the pace car this time. They're going to re-rack them and try again to get these guys under green. Lights come back on the pace car, so something was preventing the field from making their way back up to the front. Showing a black flag for Hayden Bushy in that number 15 car, so that's going to get cleared. Looks like we might have just had some scoring trouble. Lights should be going out for real this time as the pace car is going to cross the start-finish line. So you see all of these angry late models right on the rear bumper of our pace car as they're getting ready to go racing. Getting a little antsy up front there. Field going to lag back from the pace car, gives the pace car an opportunity to take the hard left turn into pit lane. Here it comes. Field makes their way into the restart box. Green flag's going to come out, and away they go once again. Another great start there for Casey Beattie. Brian Kuhn once again right on the rear bumper of that number 45 machine. Both those cars going to try and run away from Luke Shannon. That gap up to 0.2 of a second. But not running away fast enough. There we go. Now the gap is starting to increase. And some of those cars scraping the outside retaining wall. pace car going to come out once again for another incident on the racing surface. Possibly an issue for Gary Wheeler here in that number 92 machine. Yep, getting into the side of the 45 car and going to slide through the grass. And another incident there you saw at the end of the frame happening in the front of the straightaway. Possibly some oil down on the racing surface. Could be the explanation for why there are so many spins here tonight. This is the Oil Boys series. Courtney Bradley checking in the comments saying B-A-T is how you pronounce it. I will try my best. From Long Island, so I'm going to do what I do in my everyday life and blame that on why I talk funny. A lot of our drivers here from across the Long Island Sound, from Connecticut, New Hampshire, all over New England, a couple drivers from our neighbors up north in Canada. It's a big Northeastern series, but Field going to make their way back to Green Flag Racing, his car taking the hard dive to the inside. And Green Flag is out once again nearing the halfway point in this one. Side by side now for the top spot, and the pace car going to come out once again. So Ryan Kuhn not quite able to get the move done before the caution came out again. Not sure what happened there in that one. Not seeing any major event in the event log. Possibly an end-of-line penalty here for Ryan Swister, so possibly he's the reason for the caution. We can absolutely go back and definitely seeing some carnage involved there, and unfortunately the replay didn't catch all of it, but did catch the tail end of it, and you saw there was an absolute mess of cars there in turn number 4. So officially at the halfway point of this one. 50 laps in the books, 50 laps left to go here for the Oil Boys Late Model Series here at Langley Speedway. So if you're wondering where Paul is, Paul has just gotten back from the Daytona International Speedway. He had the privilege of shooting Kart Week down there at the flat track at Daytona International Speedway. One of my absolute favorite places to go. I do have a camping spot out there for the Rolex 24, so going to be enjoying some more racing down at Daytona. Right now, we've got me to listen to here at Langley Speedway, and Paul will be back for some events coming up in the future. He's throwing me the keys, taking a little break during the winter off-season. 49 laps to go. These guys are battling side by side super hard as they make their way out of turn number 4. Didn't let off each other basically until they cross the stripe once again. Ryan Kuhn going to dive to the inside here, try and get the crossover move done on Casey Beatty. And it looks like we are going to have yet another caution flag. Once again, Ryan Kuhn not able to get the job done. Seeing possibly an issue for Kenny Thompson. As Yep just gets tagged in the left rear, spun up the track, and oh, big contact on the nose there. Definitely raising those front 2 tires up in the air. A little bit of nitro circus action happening here at Langley Speedway for the Oil Boys. That number 39 machine thought about making his way down to the pit lane. Pit's not open yet, so you would get a penalty if you did that. with the backup car. He has not taken a backup car yet, that number 39 machine of Kenny Thompson, so that is an option to get that car repaired. Looks like the number 92 machine of Gary Wheeler going to take the lucky dog, put himself back on the lead lap. So all these drivers having completed 56 laps so far. You have to look all the way to 28th position for a car one lap down at this point. And that would be Patrick Swister in the number 16 car. The only other car multiple laps down is going to be Matt Pepin, only scoring 2 laps on the night before pulling out. So pace car going to take the hard dive down in the pit road, and green flag going to come out once again. This time Ryan Kuhn not able to keep up with Casey Beatty. 44 laps remaining. Oh, big carnage going on further back in the field. That one's going to bring out the caution once again, and more race cars have been junked here tonight. So Landon O'Donnell thought he got away from that one scot-free, and watch from the restart at a turn number 2. Field starts crashing, spinning right in front of him. He does get on the brakes, thinks he's out of it in the clear, a little bit of contact there, and he's going to be turned up onto his side. Does stick the landing though. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 for that one. So possibly seeing Ryan Kuhn being scored as your leader. Timing and scoring does get frozen during these caution periods. But if at the last timing loop, Casey Beatty was your race leader, he will once again start from the pole spot. Lights are out on the pace car. Field going to double up behind them, as we're going to have 40 to go when the field makes their way to the green flag. So we're going to be Casey Beatty once again on the inside. To his outside, going to be Ryan Kuhn once again for possibly the 4th or 5th time in these last 20 laps. Pace car taking the hard dive on the pit road, and field makes their way into the restart box. Green flag comes out once again. Ryan Kuhn going for the crossover, dips those left side tires into the grass. That's going to slow him down just a little bit and stack the field up just behind them. See 2 by 2 for about 4 rows back behind the number 13 car of Luke Shannon. Currently the 04 car of Justin Prescott side by side with Tegan Atkins in that number 88 car. Just in front of them is going to be Matt Huntington and Dominic Frappier. It's going to be your closest battle on the racing surface so far. Still 2x2 is Dominic Frappier in that number 47 machine, still on the high side of Tegan Atkins. They're 2x2 for 2 rows now. That battle in front calms down just a little bit, but this one for the 10th position, not slowing down at all. Big checkup there, looks like, for the number 99 car, Matt Huntington. And caution flag going to come out once again. Possibly an issue for Jason Gaudette in that number 3 machine. Excuse me, in the 17 car. And yep, there it is. Spun around, single car incident, so not a lot of other cars involved in that one. That's going to happen on lap 68. So currently going to have 32 laps to go as your race leader, Casey Beatty, is going to cross the line. So lights come back on the iRacing safety car. Andrew Watkins checking in the comments with a bit of a sarcastic comment saying this is some of the best racing I've ever seen. So many green flag laps. And yeah, I believe this is Denny Hamlin's home track from when he started short track racing. And in the words of Denny Hamlin, it's just short track racing. Hearts go out to the Hamlin family, unfortunately losing his father after a terrible fire here in the past couple of nights. So it is fitting that we're racing at the home track of Mr. Hamlin. Pace car making its way off of the racing surface. Green flag coming back out. Side by side, this time Ryan Kuhn going to take the dive to the inside of the 45 car of Casey Beatty. Side by side, cross line, drag race, still going to be the 45 in the top spot. Kuhn finally makes another dive to the inside. Here, carnage going on in the back of the field. No caution just yet, and there it is. Caution is out. I believe Ryan Kuhn is scored as your top car. Ryan Kuhn finally getting the action done. As field makes their way into what I can only describe as a crime scene that happened in turn number 2 there. See if we can find a replay for you guys. And here we go. Absolute carnage. Parking lot in turn number 1. Looks like 4, 5, 6 cars involved in that one. It's Casey Beatty making his way down in the pit lane. Couple other cars to follow. See if he takes tires. Right side goes up. Going to be taking right side tires on that number 45 machine. And makes his way back out of the pits. Fortunately, with timing and scoring stalled during this caution, not able to see where he's going to filter back out onto the racing surface. See if we can unfreeze that. Here we go, and we can. That's going to shuffle Casey Beatty back to the 18th position here. So it has taken a set of tires. Ryan Kuhn and Hayden Bushy, the only 2 cars that have not taken a pit stop yet here in the top 5. Actually, Brandon Lambert also not taking a pit stop yet in that number 77 machine. So 3/4 of the way through this one, only going to be 25 or so laps to go when we go back to green flag action. Field going to be doubled up. This time it's going to be Ryan Kuhn on the top spot. Pace car going to take the hard left turn into the pit lane. See some damage there on the number 15 of Hayden Bushy on the nose. Field makes the way to the restart box, and green flag is out. Ryan Kuhn with a fantastic jump. It's his race to lose at this point. Tegan Atkins sliding his way up into the second spot in that 88 machine, fighting side by side with Hayden Bushy. Justin Prescott wants a piece of the action too. Prescott only 31 laps on his tires from that number 04 machine. The newest tires in the top 10. So it looks like Kyle Goodbout only 19 laps on his tires in that number 92 car. And absolutely no damage on that number 92 machine either. Has taken the backup car though, so was involved in an incident earlier on in this race. Not going to matter though, that's what the backup car is for, as we're approaching 20 laps to go. Kyle Goodbout back up to the 4th position. Great battle going on here, trying to break his way into the podium. Sneaks a peek to the inside of Justin Prescott, but not able to get anything done with it. Tegan Atkins, also another driver on newer tires, only 55 laps on the rubbers around the number 88 machine. Still not able to keep up with Ryan Kuhn. Kuhn has protected his tires all throughout the night, 82 laps on his set of Hoosier tires, and he is almost a full second ahead of Tegan Atkins at this point. Still 27 cars here on the lead lap. It's really impressive for a 100-lap short track race like this here at Langley. Caution flag is going to come out. Looks like Cam Beatty is driving slowly. Oh, and here we go. Absolute carnage going on the front stretch. See if we can get a proper replay of it here. And yeah, 2, 3, 4 cars involved in that one. Luke Shannon getting an end-of-line penalty for his part in that caution. I'm not sure about that one. Looks like he had some help there, unless he reached an incident limit. Oh, backed up onto the racing surface. So definitely an unsafe re-entry there. I can see that, and a lot of damage on that race car. Luke Shannon has not taken the backup car yet, and he's going to need it after that hit. Sometimes you just got to scrub forward and backwards in the feed till you find the answers you're looking for. Does Ryan Kuhn make his way in the pit lane this time? Will not do it. Still going to stay out there on those 85-lap old tires. Only going to be 15 laps to go this time by. So field doubling up. Going to be green flag this time by. Green, 15 to go, 14 to go at the line. Ryan Kuhn going to try and run away from the field once again on those old tires. Going to need to get a huge gap on these guys before they fully fall off the cliff. So far, Ryan Kuhn does have the best lap on the night. Last lap, only 0.2 seconds off of his best lap, and actually tracking purple pace here with 88 laps on those tires. So unbelievable how he's getting it done. Big carnage there happening in turn number 3. We see cars on their lid. That's going to be the 77 of Brandon Lambert. Somehow lands it back on all 4. See if we can see what happened to him here. Yep, just gets ping-ponged right up into that outside retaining wall, and a couple little hits there before the 99 car picks him up, throws him around, spins him like a top, and he's back facing the right direction. So didn't end up on his lid, but definitely going for a ride there in that 77 car. Another car that has not taken the backup car on the night With only 10 laps remaining, I think you might as well here. Currently being scored in the 21st position, not that much to lose. Might as well go out there and get yourself some fresh rubbers and a fresh new race car to go racing with. But lights are out on the pace car. Once again, going to be 10 laps to go as the pace car takes the hard left turn one more time. Ryan Kuhn with an early jump in the restart box, going to clear Tegan Atkins. And single file for the top 2 spots, still side by side for third between Justin Prescott and Kyle Goodbout. 3 wide now for third. Out of nowhere goes Jake Grout on the inside, and they're going to keep it clean and green. Caution flag is going to come out. Casey Beatty making his way back up to the 5th spot as well. It's going to be 9 laps to go. See if we can find what happened in this caution. Possibly an issue for Paxton Call. And here we go, getting hit by the number 45 car. And unfortunately, our replay viewer did not catch what happened there. So a little more carnage here at Langley Speedway. It's not over just yet. The field is doubling up. Lights are still on the pace car though. Here we go. Now they go out as the pace car enters turn number 1. Once again, I love this shot from the rear bumper of the pace car with all of these very angry late models just right behind. A little over 10,000 horsepower in the grid here tonight behind that pace car. Field makes their way to the restart box. Away they go. As Casey Beatty, big dive underneath that cone. I believe that one's going to get him the black flag, and it will. That penalty is going to be for an unsafe pit entry because he did cross over that exit cone of the pits. See if that gets cleared or if it's going to be a race-ending mistake for the 45 car. Still staying on the racetrack, fighting hard with Justin Goodbout, possibly pleading for that caution, that black flag to go away, and I believe it does. Here's Field makes their way under caution once again. Possibly an issue for Dominic LaFleur. Once again, having some issues with our restart box. Catching everything except what I want it to catch. Yeah, seeing some issues there. And a little bit of carnage, you can hear it going on behind. But unfortunately, the replay viewer did not catch what happened, so missing all of the good action here. But Field is doubled up. Lights are out, and the pace car going to be 2 laps remaining as Field makes their way back to the restart zone one more time here for the Oil Boys Late Model Series. Into the restart box once again, 2 laps remaining, and Ryan Kuhn going to try and run away from Jake Grout. Still 99 laps on these tires. Too late to pit now. Going to have to make do with what he's got, and it's working for him. Still side by side here for the third position. White flag this time. One more lap to go. This lap is going to end it. Is it going to be Ryan Kuhn, or is Jake Grout going to have one last dive into turn number 3? Nears the rear bumper, but not able to get anything done. There's carnage behind, but Ryan Kuhn is going to win the 100-lapper here at Langley Speedway. Cars are still wrecking as they make their way across the line. Some cars possibly ending on their lids, still crashing. But that doesn't matter to Ryan Kuhn. He was able to get away clean and green, not taking the backup car. That's actually the only damage he's got on the night after this checkered flag. Gonna park it right there in victory lane. So as we get our results here on the grid. So finishing in the top spot is going to be Ryan Kuhn in the 72 car. Jake Grout finishing in second, 0.3 of a second behind. Kyle Goodbout finishing in third. And after that, I believe timing and scoring did a fantastic job tallying these cars. Because I believe most of these cars ended up sideways on their lid, facing the wrong direction across the line. Luke Shannon finishing in the 13th position. Steven Rochefort finishing in 5th. 6th is going to be Ty Delphia. 7th going to be Chris Theron. 8th going to be Casey Beatty. 9th, Hayden Bushy. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Matt Huntington, 3.5 seconds behind your race leader. Finishing in the 11th position is going to be the 92 of Gary Wheeler. Carter Atwood finishing in 12th. Jason Gaudette Jr. finishing 13th. Dominic Verpure finishing in the 14th position. Dominic LaFleur finishing in 15th. Kenny Thompson, 16th. Justin Prescott, 17th. Tegan Atkins finishing in 18th after a fantastic run most of the night. Unfortunately, some carnage there at the end got him taken out. Brandon Lambert finishing 19th. Mike McCaskill in the 20th position. Rounding out your field, 21st going to be Makita Giroux. Paxton Call finishing 22nd. Tom Harwood finishing 23rd. Cam Beatty, 24th. 25th going to be Landon O'Donnell. 26th, Brogan Roberts. 27th going to be the 25 of Riley McVetti. 28th going to be Patrick Swister. And rounding out your field in the 29th spot, only running one lap, is going to be Matt Pepin. So see if we can find some of our drivers, get them in here for an interview. And first, we'll start off with your third place finisher, Kyle Goodbout. Fantastic run you had here tonight. I apologize for some of the heat races. I couldn't get your paint scheme up on the screen. I'm working with a fresh install of everything, and unfortunately forgot to check off some of the options so we could see your race car. But got it on screen for the feature, ended up finishing third on the night. How did you make it through some of the carnage in this one? We might have an issue with Kyle Goodbout. See if we can get him in here. Maybe not. So we'll drop him back out. See if we can get your second place finisher, Jake Grout. Jake Grout, do we got you there, buddy?
Yeah.
There we go. So we got second place finisher, Jake Grout. Fantastic battle there at the end. Just couldn't get Ryan. Only 45 laps on your tires. Ryan somehow able to run this one every single lap on the same set of Hoosiers. Did you think you had something there for him at the end, or was he just too good?
I think I might have had something for him, but when I put tires on, I was thinking, maybe I had something, and then got spun, so killed the tires there and got damaged. So it was make sure just tires not being great and having some right front damage from all the catastrophes there was.
Yeah, saw you had to take the backup car here tonight, which obviously not something you want to do, but it is an option for these guys, so it helped you stay in the race, get yourself a second spot here. Did it feel like Days of Thunder out there? A lot of cautions here tonight in this one.
Yeah, it felt like something. Whenever I got hit in turn 3 during the big wreck, I got hit so hard it unplugged my wheel, so I had to try to find the plug for my wheel and plug it back in, sitting there on the racetrack so I could get going again, because I couldn't turn. So that was fun, and then it was just, I don't even know, it was a mess.
A little bit of hardware issue, a little bit of some other drivers causing some issues for you, and still rounding out for a second place finish. I'd call that pretty good. I'd be happy with that night. Why don't you give us some of your sponsor plugs? Thank you. Who do you want to thank for being here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank JNS Sales and Service, AW Clark Builders, White's Heating, Curly Transport, RKM Setup Shop, Ryan, Casey Beatty Racing, Prescott, to everybody. My grandfather's watching, thank you. Mom, probably watching, never know with her. Thank you, and we're going to go maybe try to get us a win next week. Highly doubt it, but...
Hell yeah, well hopefully we're talking to you again next week. Paul should be back in the booth, so you'll hear a familiar voice once again if you finish on the podium, and can't wait to watch you go out there and try and take down Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of Ryan Kuhn, we've got your racing winner here in the booth. Casey Beatty, I basically dominated this whole race. A lot of frustrating cautions trying to get around him, and finally you were able to pass him. What was that like every time you had a dive and just caution would come out?
Yeah, it was just it got a little frustrating there. I felt like I was underneath him like 3 or 4 times before we ended up actually making the pass. So, I mean, it was fun. It was frustrating, but it's part of the game. You know how it is. But I had a lot of fun. We had a good race for the lead. Beating and banging a little bit, door bang. That's just part of racing at short tracks like these. So, I had a lot of fun. I hope everybody else did too. I know it's frustrating for some guys just with all the yellows and getting a little beat up and stuff like that. And that's something I hope we can get cleaned up here in the future. Um, but all in all, I think the racing product this week was much better than it was last week, which is a really good thing. Um, so, but yeah, all in all, it was a fun race. So very glad we were able to come home with it.
Yeah, I believe we timed out last week. Fortunately, not timing out here, able to run all 100 laps. I'm seeing you did not take tires. You did not pit at all once during this race. Didn't have to take the backup car. Only 4 incidents on the night. And if I keep looking at your stats, you have an I rating over 10,000. Does that have something to do with how you're able to keep the rubber underneath this car, or were you just driving with a cool head on your shoulders? Is it just talent? Why didn't you have to come in the pit lane when everyone else did?
Yeah, I just kind of figured we had a lot of yellows. So honestly, the heat cycles with this car is kind of I would say broken on here. Where if you get enough yellows, like 3 or 4 yellows back to back, and guys take tires, it just evens out. It just something with this tire model with this car. It just evens out the tires, and the only way it would be a factor would be 30, 40 laps into a run, which I kind of figured we weren't going to get. We'd get like 10, 15 laps at a time. Um, so yeah, I just kind of figured that there was no need to pit. I felt really good up front. Clean air helped a little bit, and I felt like there was just no need to.
So a little bit of insider information on the late model tires. Maybe that might help some of your competitors catch up to you and give you a bit more of a fight there towards the end. Jake obviously battling really well with you. Casey Beatty battling really well all throughout tonight. Why don't you give out some of your sponsors' plugs? Thanks to you. Who brought you here to race tonight?
Yeah, RKM Setup Shop. Thankful for everyone that's helped make RKM a thing. My real life sponsors: Everett's Auto Parts, Modern Auto Body, Coastal Heritage Bank, Cape Cod Central Railroad, 01 Designs, my family, everyone who's helped, bring it to this point in my career, and having a great time doing it.
Oh yeah, well, it was a pleasure talking to you once again up here. I believe Paul will be back up in the booth next weekend, so you'll hear a familiar voice once again on air on VidaneTV, but we'll let you get out of here, close up the show, and call it a night.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So once again, thank you to everyone who stayed tuned in. No, we had a couple of technical difficulties here. Had to do a fresh computer build over the weekend, lost my last one, so dealing with some gremlins, trying to get all the software set back up, a little bit of internet difficulties. The full race was recorded in high quality. That will be re-uploaded tomorrow, so if you wanted to go back and watch it or show some of your friends, feel free to show them that version without any of the internet hiccups that we had here tonight. But that's all for me. Next week, Paul should be back. You should have him back here. I'll be sitting back in the second spot, as I usually do here on VidaneTV. And as always, we'll be doing it live.